Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Adult Chair on rashpixel.fm. I'm Pete Wright, and I am... it's a weird segue. I'm not really angry to be here with Michelle Chalfant, but that's, I think, where we're going today.
And I'm going to talk to you about what to do with that anger, Pete. If you are angry...
Oh, thank goodness. Put it in place. My rage doth boil over.
I'm going to help you.
I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm just furious. How you doing, Michelle Chalfant? How you feeling?
I'm fine. I feel great. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling so good.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, I teach, and usually I teach in colleges and university, and my cousin is a writing teacher at a private school in Florida. And she invited me to a guest spot on film, writing film critique, and so I got to do one of those things where I got to do a Google Hangout on video with a bunch of high school kids for a couple of hours just yesterday or as we record this last week, and it was so much fun. I felt that she turned the camera around and showed me on this giant screen my ugly mug. On the screen, hollering it.
How cool!
Yeah, I love doing that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's fun, and what an engaged and pleasant group of kids at the out of door school.
Oh, how cool!
They were really charming, and one of them said that I have a fantastic beard. So
that's true.
I feel like that is high school credibility. Like I could walk through a high school and be taken because of a rockin' beard. I'll take that.
You have a rockin' beard. My husband agrees. He loves it.
Anyhow, I'm feeling anything but angry today, but we have been getting a lot of comments from folks who are wondering, what do we do with our anger? How do we, and you certainly have some thoughts about it. Before we get started, however, make sure you head over to theadultchair.com to learn more about the show and sign up for our mailing list so you don't miss a single episode or event updates. And that's what we want to talk about today. Oh my goodness. We've got new stuff on the calendar by popular demand, I have to say. We've got these two classes coming up. And this is in order of chronology and not program. Finally, at long last, I say, Level 2, the Adult Chair Level 2 class is finally on the calendar.
It's a master class.
It is a master class. January 27th and 28th in Nashville at our favorite Scarrett Bennett Center. What do you want to talk about the masterclass?
Ooh,
this is a hotly requested item.
It is, and everyone that's taken the level 1, honestly, like the last day of level 1, most people say, "When is the next one?"
Yeah, right.
Like, well, let me write it. So I wrote it. And
so now everybody who said that, you better show up.
You better show up because you all asked for it. So
right.
Yeah. So really, of course, in the beginning, we're going to do some review of what we've already talked about in level 1. But really, then we move right into, helping people really master living in this adult chair. And we take the child to deeper levels. We go into the adolescent and the ego deeper than we did in level 1. And then, of course, the adult, we really bring in a lot of energy medicine and energy talk with the adult chair and higher self. And day 2, we're going to go into chakras and law of attraction. And we blend it all together and help people understand how we live in this adult chair more and more and more throughout the day. So it's very, very experiential. There's certainly lecture, but a lot of experience because that's how I learn. That's how I teach, right? And I think that people learn best from experience. So I can talk to you all day long about how it feels to do this and why this is important. But when we experience something, it just anchors it in the body and we don't forget it. Like it's in there because it's in every cell of the body. So that is how I teach. And that's what we're going to be doing in the master class. So that's January 27th, 28th. And you have to have level 1 to take that class. So
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
h- However,
Well, and it's a little bit wonky because we don't have a level 1 class on the calendar before, like between, December
right.
and January 27, 28. So sorry about that. This is really for people who have been asking the class who've already graduated over the last couple of years from that level
Mhm.
1 class.
Right.
However, if you want to get started in the cycle, this is for you, February 10th and 11th in Delray Beach, Florida.
Yes.
Level
All
1
my
class.
Florida people, let's go. And not only that, here's what I'm thinking. You guys, when it is freezing cold in the north, come on down because Delray Beach, you fly into like West Palm or Fort Lauderdale, and you're like 20 minutes from there, I think, 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and there's lodging where I'm going to do this lecture at this conference center. It's really beautiful at the Duncan Conference Center. There's lodging there and it's beautiful and the weather's going to be lovely. So come on down, get on Southwest, come on down
Oh
and take this
man.
class with us. Yeah.
How far is it from the actual beach? Like,
Oh, just a few miles. It's not far at all. It's not like it's inland. It's right in between Boca and West Palm Beach.
well, see, that means nothing to me.
Oh,
I,
that's
I
right.
live in
You're
a
on the
place where
West
it takes it,
Coast.
it takes me an hour to get to. It's not a beach, it's
No,
the coast
this is
here, and
minutes.
it's
Minutes.
covered in craggy rocks that look like Mount Doom.
Oh no, this is
It's yeah.
beautiful beaches and lovely weather in February and, yeah. And
Well,
it's
that's
it's
lovely.
a short drive if you're in Florida, as you all know, from Tampa or Orlando or wherever. So
Well, that's fantastic.
come join us. But I still think that people from the north should fly in
Yeah, come on down to
when
the
it's
to
cold.
Florida. Again, February 10th and 11th,
Yeah.
level 1 adult chair class, level 2, January 27th, 28th in Nashville. Both of those, registration is available now on the website at michellechalfant.com.
Yep.
Check that out. We do just have one bit of old business, Michelle, old business. It's the journaling challenge. It's the first time we've talked since the 30-day journaling challenge
Yes.
has wrapped. How's your journal?
Oh, Pete, it was a phenomenal 30 days, I have to say. Um,
Yeah.
Not just for myself, but I was so touched by just everyone in the closed group that was reporting. And I had, of course, people that were clients and other people that just commented to me when they saw me like, oh my God, I had no idea what I was going to uncover. And thank you so much for those prompts. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's why we did it. And I was really trying to help people to go deeper. That's I think part of what I want to help people do is go deeper within, find your true self, find your true self. And journaling really does that. And it reflected in the comments that I got on the closed group. It was
Mhm.
beautiful how people really had some major shifts. There were some people that certainly beat up on themselves for missing a few days or a week or 2 weeks, which is
Yeah.
okay, everybody. Like, if you're listening to this and you missed a few days, take the journaling prompts that you missed and keep going. Keep going. And know that now you have somewhat of a habit, if not a true habit, where when you're really feeling thrown about something or you just want to explore something, journal about it. There's your new topic. There's your journaling prompts. Journal about that.
The for those who shared their experiences each day, sharing what kinds of issues they're working through, I just have to say deepest thanks. I think that you folks in particular are a role model for others in this group, and there is such great honor in that position to be able to demonstrate publicly the kind of work that you're doing.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience to go in and read those every day. And
Yeah.
this is the first time I have to tell you in Facebook that I go in and enthusiastically and joyously click the heart instead of the thumbs up. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
I
I
do.
understand what
Yeah.
the stupid icons mean as a result of this experience.
Yeah.
And so I want to say thanks. I can say that this can only be classified as a success based on the kinds of work that you did. So thank you for that. And,
Yeah.
stay tuned. We're going to be talking a lot more about journaling and, thinking of ways we can use this experience to create something that'll help you journal and maintain this habit. But that is the big question, right? What do you, for those who soldiered through the 30 days and made change in their lives, what next?
I would say Well, hopefully there have been some habits that have been created just in the 30 days. And again, the feedback we've gotten tells me that people really, really changed a lot and had a lot of great awarenesses. That was what was cool to read about. But I would say to set a timer on, or not a timer, go into your calendar and set an appointment with yourself, whether it be every day or once a week. But if it's in my calendar and it pops up with a little reminder, I'm like, oh, today's the day to do X, Y, or Z. But I think that's really, really helpful. So many people said, well, I can't journal every day, and other people did. So if you're somebody that journals, that has been journaling every day and you got a lot out of it, then set that in your time, in your calendar. And same with the people that only journaled once a week, which still is not a bad thing. I think that's a great thing. Even doing it 1 or 2 days a week is beneficial. So maybe every weekend you journal. So set your alarm in your calendar for every Saturday and Sunday. The key is just to keep it up and then share in the closed group, because what I have found is when someone would share their experience in their journaling, they had comments. And I think that's like, I went in, of course, every week and did a live video on it, but also having everyone else as a cheerleader that could connect with them in that really vulnerable space was very motivational, I would say.
Huge.
And I wish I had posted this 30 days ago, but I just posted in the closed group the other day. When you join this closed group and you post in there or you comment, it does show up in your live, or excuse me, in your Facebook personal, what's it called? Feed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows up in your personal feed, but only for you to see. And people were thinking that when they were posting, they were seeing it on their personal feed, which meant, oh my God,
That it was
everyone's going to
public.
see what I'm posting about in
Yeah.
my journal, and I'm posting about my friends and my family. You are the only one that can see it.
Mm-hmm.
So it does land on your personal feed, but no one that you're friends with on your personal Facebook page can see it. Only people in the closed group. So anyway.
Okay. That's an important Facebook safety tip.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, that's that.
All right. Well, this was fantastic. Again, thank you to everybody who participated, and stay tuned for more talk about journaling. So that's it for their updates right now. Stay tuned. And here we go.
Okay.
What do I do, Michelle? What do I do with this seething rage that is bubbling up inside me?
So many of us are afraid of our anger, and we just do not go there. I hear that from people all the time. Oh, I don't do anger. Yeah. It's kind of like how people say, I don't do emotions. If they don't do emotions, they really don't do anger. They really don't do anger. Yeah. So most people, they shove it down, stay calm. And this is what, we get this programming from others while we're growing up, from friends and family and whoever's around us. Typically we hear things like, oh, just calm down. You're getting too upset, or chill out. Why are you getting all crazy? Like, anger does not equal crazy.
Well, it's like it feels like people like we either feel like we have to protect others from our anger, right? Yeah. And so we have to be polished and poshed and hide it, yes. Or we have to protect ourselves from our anger because we don't trust what we would do if we were in a rage state, right?
Exactly. It feels out of control, so we get scared. Yeah. But also, again, that's from that early programming that we got from people that were around us while we grew up. We got the message that anger was dangerous, it was scary, it was bad. So don't go there. Get over it as quickly as you can, sweep it under the carpet, shove it down somehow, and move on. But the problem is there's so much energy in anger. Like when we take these emotions and don't express them, they don't just sit comfortably in the body. The body starts to change, physically speaking, because of all these unfelt emotions. And anger has so much energy in it. We don't want to keep shoving anger down. And these are people that then years later go, I have fibromyalgia, I've got cancer, I've got chronic fatigue, I've got and then when I go in and I start digging, like what's in there, so often I hear things like, well, we weren't allowed to feel emotions, and my mother was a rager, so I don't have anger. Or if we grew up in households where there were things like alcoholics or addictions, or again, parents that gave us the message, we don't do emotions in this house. We think then it's scary or it's bad and we need to hide from it or run away. So I just do not believe that that's true. I don't believe that's true at all. In fact, again, I think it's kind of dangerous if we don't express it somehow. Anger can be really, really good. Really good. In fact, it's like rocket fuel. It creates a lot of change within us and in our lives because it's power. Anger is where our power comes from. It's like fuels us in a good way, in a good way. So there are a couple different types of anger that I wanted to talk about. First of all, we have pure anger. This is anger that just comes from deep within. And I would say that comes from the child. Like people say to me, I can't believe my little child is so angry. I'm like, that's where our feelings and emotions come from, is this inner child perspective. So of course she or he is going to feel angry, shame, rejection, love, joy, everything, not just happy, sad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of emotions that come through this inner child, but when this child is feeling truly angry, that's okay. And that's a good thing. That's just pure anger. However, so often people use anger as a defense.
It's like a shield.
Yes, exactly. It's just like a shield. So many times, again, we have other emotions, but we don't want to feel those. So we defend ourselves. So if we look at this from the perspective of the chairs, the child might be having, let's say, sadness or shame or rejection. So the child feels these feelings really deeply and they're bubbling up within the body. So what happens is that adolescent chair kicks in, the energy slides over there, the ego comes up and says, I need to shut this feeling down. I need to shut this sadness down. I want to shut this other thing, whatever you're feeling down. So I'm going to get angry. Because when I get angry and I explode all over you, then you're going to stop pushing my buttons and stop making me feel so sad or stop.
Well, that's right.
Okay?
And it's like a self-reinforcing kind of practice too, because you experience, oh my gosh, when my anger comes up, nobody talks to me. Right. And if
leave me
really,
alone.
When people see you're angry, they will start leaving you alone. And then anger becomes a state,
yes.
a practiced like home.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a defense. I'm just trying to get you to stop triggering me. So I'm going to explode all over you and I'm going to get really, really angry. But underneath it, it's not true. Underneath the anger, it's just not true. And it's so interesting because in my practice, I'll sit and I'll ask people when they come in and for years I've done this, I'm just so angry. I'm pissed at this or I'm angry at that. And I'll say, okay, just take a deep breath, drop inside your body. Like, what are you really feeling? What's going on inside? Well, I'm angry, okay. Well, if you could go underneath the anger, what else might be down there underneath the anger? And then I pause and, I'm telling you 8 out of 10 times at least people will say to me, oh, I'm really sad. I didn't even know I was sad. Oh, or I felt really abandoned and rejected. Yeah. In fact, I just had, I had a couple that had come in a few weeks ago and this exact thing happened. The husband was really angry and getting controlling with his wife and they were in together and she was very upset and he was upset and he's angry and she's angry. It was back and forth. And I said, everybody stop. And I said, I said to the husband, I'd like to invite you to share with us how you're feeling, and I want you to know, no matter what you say, it's okay. And we're not going to respond until you're all done. And everyone in the room is going to be nice and calm, and we just really want to hear what's going on inside of you. And he sat there and goes, well, I'm just angry. I said, yeah, can you give it a minute? I let him go underneath and he said, I had no idea. I felt so rejected. I feel rejected by her. I was like, wow, it was so powerful. And I said, so you're not even angry. And then she turned to him. She goes, but you seem so angry. He goes, no, I just realized I'm feeling rejected by you. And I didn't even know till right now. Then she starts crying. She then wants to connect with him. I'm like, there you go. Like and so anyway, so we worked on that, but it was beautiful. And I thought, wow, you see, anger is just pushing her away because he felt so bad inside. So, now there is another form of anger, which most people think anger is. They immediately think anger equals rage. Yeah.
What's the difference there? I mean, because that's where I people can kind of get tripped up, right? That when you talk about, maybe we use these terms too loosely. Oh, he's a rager.
Yes. Yeah. Someone that's really angry all the time, they'd say, oh, he's a rager. So again, when we're looking at it from the perspective of the chairs, rage comes from the adolescent chair. So rage is just like what we just talked about, which is a way to push you away. Like, you're hurting me. You're making me feel feelings inside of myself that I don't want to feel based on your actions. So to use that couple, for example,
Yeah.
She was doing something that was hurting him, and she didn't even know. She had no idea that what she was doing was making him feel rejected. So he's exploding on her, and rage again is that defense. It's if you think about energy, it's literally an explosion of energy, not only in the body but all around you, and it's like shrapnel that's like, like pushes people
Yeah.
away, right? So, rage is unconscious, uncontrollable, explosive anger. It's not healthy. There's nothing productive about it. It doesn't make us feel better on the other end. It feels good in that moment because we're pushing people away. But ultimately, it doesn't help us to have rage toward other people. And some people are addicted to it too, because it's such an adrenaline rush. They're just ragers, it just feels good because I'm pushing people away, and they're addicted to that feeling of the rush through their whole body, but it doesn't end. They don't find truth. They don't resolve anything. They're just pushing people away. So, and people are afraid that if they feel anger, or if they, excuse me, let me say this another way. If they allow their anger to come up through them, they're afraid it's going to look like rage and it will be uncontrollable. So what I say to people is, well, anger is not rage. Anger is anger is anger, and it's pure. And sometimes that inner child, people are shocked, and I've seen it in the closed group, and they say, my little 3-year-old is furious, angry, mad at me, and she's screaming at me, or my 5-year-old is screaming. Yeah, that's okay. Like, that's normal. Like, that's,
we're going to let that go.
Yeah, like, that's absolutely normal. And yeah, that's okay. But when I ask people about their anger and they say, I don't want to go there, I invite them to allow in maybe like a quarter of it. Can you let a little bit? Can you, and I have them like imagine maybe like a pot that's bubbling over. I'll say, can you just lift a little bit and let a little bit out? Let's see how that feels. And that's really helpful for people. And they'll say, oh my gosh, I just felt a little bit of it and it didn't scare me. It was actually okay. My stomach got, knots in it, but I can breathe easier because it's coming out. I'm like, there you go. Let's let a little bit more out. And I'm here with you. And I promise if I'm uncomfortable, I'll say, I'll tell you, but I can handle it. Let's let this out because it's only hurting you. So it's really interesting. So that's healthy anger. Again, it comes from the child. We express it through the adult. And that looks like, I'm really angry with you. And can we talk about why? And I might raise my voice. It's not like, again, I don't want anyone to think when I'm in my adult, I'm this zenned out, sitting in a meditative pose with my fingers in a mudra. Like, I can be angry in my adult, but I'm funneling that beautiful, rich, powerful emotion of anger from the child up through my adult. So it's controlled. And I don't mean that I'm controlling. It's controlled emotion. So it's not explosive. Remember, explosive, unconscious, uncontrollable anger is rage from the adolescent. There's no control. But it's like, hey, Pete, I'm really mad at you. I'm really angry with you. You did this and that to me. Can we talk about it? And this is why I'm mad. I'm really mad about this. Blah, 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 blah. But again, it's from my adult. So I'm going to the person that I'm angry at. And then I'm going to talk with you about it from my adult. And then I'm going to hear your side of the story. So I'm angry at you, and here's why. You did this and that and the other thing. So the positive side of expressing anger is, number one, it brings clarity. It brings clarity because if I'm upset with you and I'm angry, and then you have yours, then you can say to me, oh, well, that's not what I meant, or I did it because blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, so there's clarity. But what I also find is when I express anger, like, let's just say this, that you did something and you hurt me. And I say to my husband, I'm really mad at Pete. I'm so angry. Can you listen to what I'm feeling? I'll say to my husband, I need you to listen to what I'm feeling. I want to express these emotions. Okay. So he'll listen to me. And in the expressing, whether it's crying or yelling or whatever I'm doing, and he's just witnessing me, I have new truth when I'm at the end of it, because we do exhaust, we'll get to the end of it like, okay, I'm done. Oh, here's my truth. Pete's such a great guy. I can't imagine that he would ever do that to me intentionally. I do need to talk to him now. You see, so there's
Yeah.
two ways to get clarity. Either I go directly to you, or I might speak with a friend or a spouse or somebody or a partner, let them know how I'm feeling. I gain new awareness about whatever, and then I can go to you directly then. So again, it helps to bring truth,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. It does. Well, and I imagine that's the thing. Like when you go back to this place of fact and truth, when you enable an accountability partner to be able to reflect with you, it helps it helps move you out of habit state, right?
Yes.
Out of naturally landing in rage, because you suddenly now know what it feels like not to be
Exactly.
automatically triggered in rage.
And the key is, remember, if anyone wants to try this, make sure you set up what you want that other person to do for you. So if you have a friend or whomever that wants to sit with you and you're really angry and you say, all I need you to do is listen. Don't say anything. Don't correct me. Please do not fix me, because that's what we want to do. People will jump in and say, let me fix this because she's really mad. No, no, no. That does not help them move through their anger. It helps them. Right. Again, it's because that other person is not comfortable with anger. So we want to stop it. We want to fix that person. We want to make them feel better. That does not make them feel better long term, temporarily. But we want to set up, again, don't say a word, just witness me. Please don't fix me. And then the person goes, okay. And I'm letting you know, I'm going to get angry, but it's okay. Just witness me. Okay, I'm going to witness you. Done. Yeah. It does cause us to take action. Anger moves us forward. And, I remember I was trying to reach this woman this one time, that this lady had a secretary. She had an assistant or something. And I was trying to reach, I'm trying to remember the whole circumstance around this, but I do remember I had to call this woman and I needed to reach her. I think it was like graphic designer or somebody like that. And I kept getting her assistant. Yeah. And I'm like, why am I not getting a call back from this woman that I needed a call back from? So it went like 3 times. I'm calling, I'm emailing. I can't reach this lady I'm trying to talk to. Finally, I got angry. I'm like, this is crazy. It's been 3 weeks. I've been patient. I'm pissed. So what did I do? I went directly to this woman's boss, and she was lovely. She was absolutely fine. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. So-and-so's been out. She's had maternity issue, or she's had pregnancy issues. I wasn't getting all that. I was like, oh, but it forced me to take action. So we find that when we're angry, it forces us to take a step forward. It forces us to talk to people that we might be afraid of or not want to have that uncomfortable conversation. Anger pushes us into it. So it's a good thing. It helps us step into our power. Like I said before, anger is like rocket fuel. Like, it does push us forward. It helps us to go and apply for that job, have that conversation, do the things that we're afraid to do. Anger pushes us into that. So it's not bad. So let it up through your body. And remember, we've talked about feeling emotions before. 90 seconds, typically. I mean, sometimes a little bit longer, but remember, Jill Bolte Taylor talked about this in A Stroke of Genius in her book. When she had the stroke on the left side of her brain, she was only able to feel emotions. And she said, truly, when we don't block emotions, they last 90 seconds. That's it.
That's amazing.
It's the mind that keeps them stuck, because the mind gets scared. And then we just, get stuck in the emotion or in the anger.
Well, and also, when you're in the anger, it feels a hell of a lot longer than 90 seconds.
Right. Right.
It feels like time slows down, and that is, again, an experience that you internalize, that you habituate.
It's when we get stuck in story, when we start making a story up about fill in the blank. Well, Pete's mad at me because blah, 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 blah. It was probably because of this. I don't know why you're mad at me. I need to ask you. Right?
That's
it's
right.
Like, I don't, well, he's probably mad at because, or I'm mad at him because he did this and this and this. And he's just, it's like, no. So we get stuck in story that freezes the emotion. Anger brings us out of that victim mode. Thank God, because I can't stand when I'm in my victim. And I know when I'm in it, it does push me out of it to find my power again. So it's like flips the coin on us. So I remember a client that I had, who had a daughter-in-law that was so awful to her. And the client would come in and she'd be so upset about how her daughter-in-law was treating her. And maybe, we're going to call her Sue. Okay. So Sue was upset that her daughter-in-law, that she had done something to her daughter-in-law. In other words, she was taking all the blame and sitting in more of like a victim kind of place. Like, oh, it must be all my fault. I'm a bad person. I need to change who I am. I need to this. I need to that. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then she says, what do you think I'm doing wrong? And I said, I think your daughter-in-law is a bitch.
Oh dear.
After I'd heard about her for months, and I said, I am very sorry to say this. She sounds awful.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has anything to do with you.
It's possible it's not you at all.
I said, I don't think it has anything to do with you. And so then we worked a lot about her. I said, can you just, your daughter-in-law did this and that to you. How does that make you feel? And she'd slide into, we can go into one end or the other end. It's like, I'm either going to go into the victim end of the yardstick or a powerful way, or in the powerful end. So she kept sliding into the other end. Like, I must have done something wrong. Why is she treating me like this? Maybe I'm bad. And I said, what if you go in the other direction and get angry? Get angry. I'm not saying to chew this daughter-in-law out or throw, the phone through the window or get like crazy, but allow yourself to feel the anger. And she started doing that. It has been a beautiful transformation. She now comes in. She's like, her daughter-in-law sometimes bothers her, but she's gotten into a space where it doesn't bother her nearly as much because she has shifted into allowing herself to feel the anger, which brings in the power. And then she's able to see clearly who she really is, which is one of the loveliest people that I know. And so all of a sudden, she's not in the victim place anymore. She's not there anymore. Right. Because she allows herself to feel her anger. And I've said, stand up, walk through my office, stomp that out. Like, she's a bitch. She's like, she's a bitch. I'm like, say it again. He's screaming. She's like, she is, and I've helped her to let this anger through. It's changed her. And I see that often with people that don't let themselves feel the anger.
The anger is ownership in this regard, right? Anger is taking ownership of identity, of who you are in the face of someone else or some experience that is taking advantage.
Everyone has a right to feel angry. And we don't give ourselves permission to go there. Again, humans think we're supposed to be happy all the time, 24/7. And if we're not, there's something wrong with us. So let's run and get, anxiety meds or depression. It's like, no, feel your emotions. Specifically, let the anger come through. You won't feel anxious. The depression will be less when you let emotions come through. Stop depressing your anger. Let it out. So how do we let it out, Pete?
Did I just beat a pillow? That's what I've always heard. Go beat up on a pillow.
You can do that for sure.
I can do that.
You can chop wood, beat up on a pillow, go for a run, like do all that stuff. Get it.
I like to keep a warehouse full of guitars that I smash while listening to AC/DC. Like I like to do that.
Oh, music is so good for moving us.
Oh yeah,
moving energy. Absolutely, yes.
Just as an aside, what's your angry music?
Oh my God! Wait, I had it in my head. Linkin Park.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Did you think I was going to say that?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Like, some of that music is really dark. And I know when I'm angry, that Linkin Park comes on and I am yelling and screaming and singing right along.
You know all the words too, I'll bet. I'll bet you know it.
Yeah, to certain songs, my go-to songs, I definitely know all the words.
Okay, mine is if you're looking for rage music, Pretty Hate Machine by 9 Inch Nails. 1989.
Ooh.
That is a go-to classic for me. Trent Reznor. Yeah. I'm getting angry just thinking about it.
There you go. It's so great, though. Doesn't it feel good?
It
I know
so
when
good.
I get in my car and I crank that music and I'm pissed and I'm yelling and I'm letting the anger through. When I get out of the car, I'm like, whoa, I feel like I lost 20 pounds just now. That feels
pretty
great.
good.
I feel great. So
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So listening to music that brings the anger through, absolutely. Music is phenomenal for us. Yeah. It changes our state completely. And sit in it. We have how many podcasts on this, Pete?
Yeah.
We got
we've got them.
And I don't remember the names of them, but And how do you feel your feelings? What do I do with my feelings? We got that one in the adolescent chair. What do I do with my parts? Let the feelings come through. Get curious. And a lot of people have been asking me, I don't know how to feel any of my emotions. What do I do? I don't know what to do. Okay. Don't just go for feeling an emotion and labeling it. Get curious about what is coming up within the physical body when there is an emotion. So, and oftentimes people go, well, I don't feel anything. Okay. I don't care. Feel what's going on in your body. Because your body speaks. Your body will tell us what's going on emotionally. So oftentimes people will say, well, I don't feel any emotion. Okay. Well, tell me, what do you feel in your physical body? And they'll say, my shoulders are kind of tight, or my throat's tight, or my heart's racing. Okay, well, let's be with that. And we just sit in it and sit with it. And then the next thing might be they go from their heart racing. Well, now I have knots in my stomach. Great. Can you be with the knots in your stomach? Oh, just sit with the knots in my stomach. Yeah, there's no label. You don't have to say the knots in my stomach are sadness. No, you do not have to do this. Just be with the knots in the stomach. Because here's what's so cool is eventually they start to move, because everything is energy, including emotions. And you don't need to know what the name of the emotion is. I don't care, but I want to move it or help the person to move it through their body. And we can do that by drawing our awareness toward whatever physical sensation they feel. Here's something we all can do, which everyone should know about, because we just finished the beautiful month of 30 days of journaling on the journaling with the journaling challenge. That is something we can do, is journal it out. So allow anger to have a persona, or like an identity all of its own, and say, okay, anger, start writing.
Yeah. Write a letter.
Let it talk. Yeah. Just write, just talk like as if you are the anger. So let anger come through, whatever, anything you want to do. Pretend like you're talking to your little inner child, let your inner child have the pen, whatever you need to do, write about it, journal it, anything you can do. One thing that we've talked about a few times too is emotional freedom technique. So EFT, and there's a video. Pete, where? It's on my YouTube channel.
It's on the YouTube channel. Absolutely. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll put the link directly to it in the show notes.
Yeah. So it's on the YouTube channel. So EFT is just a way to get these emotions that are stuck, and specifically anger. And again, any emotion that's stuck, you can use EFT, and I've created a video. It's really, really easy. It's a combination of many different types of EFT, because there's so many out there. I wanted a user-friendly that anyone could use for anything across the board. You can use this on anger. And there's a video I'm explaining exactly how you do that. And I just want to touch on one quick thing, one final point, if I may. And that is, people say, I'm afraid to let that anger through, or even they'll say it when I'm tapping using EFT, but they'll just say, I don't want to feel my anger because I follow the law of attraction, or I believe in the law of attraction. And if I think about my anger, it's going to get stuck and I'm going to attract more anger, is what people say.
I get it. Yeah. Because you attract your beliefs, and that's, if you're constantly thinking about that, that's all you're going to get from the world. Okay.
Exactly. And I do not agree. I've studied law of attraction, which it's like saying, I believe in gravity.
Yeah.
There isn't, whether you believe in law of attraction or not, it's happening. It's like gravity. I don't sit around and go, I believe in gravity, so I'm not going to fly through space today. Yeah. It's like law of attraction is on all the time, just like gravity, which means like attracts like, which means what I think about comes about. But not only that, here's a part of it that a lot of people don't talk about, which is it's not just what you consciously think about, it's what you unconsciously think or are not thinking about. So if you're storing a lot of anger in your body, and it's in there, it's in the unconscious. When you know how we shove things down, they get stuck inside of it. It doesn't mean that they're not there. So by not feeling the anger and not releasing it from the body, you're attracting more of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because it's always...
It's like you're shoving it under the water. Yeah. Yes, it's always in there. So by feeling it, you're actually releasing it, so you attract less of it.
Yeah.
People forget, we just don't attract. We don't consciously create with our thoughts. We do consciously create with our thoughts, but we, in my opinion, are creating a hell of a lot more with what's going on underneath the thoughts, underneath the conscious thoughts and the unconscious mind.
I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think about an iceberg. In an iceberg, if you're looking at a picture of an iceberg, you see the little tiny tip of the iceberg like hanging out of the water, but underneath is this massive, massive piece of ice under the water. That's like the unconscious mind. The conscious mind is above the water.
Mm-hmm.
So people think that they can create just with the conscious mind, this little tiny bit. No, we're creating with what's underneath it too. So we've got to release what's going on in the unconscious mind as well. So feeling your emotions, all of them, as much as you can, clears out the unconscious mind that helps you to create more peace in your life. Boom. Done.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
This is good stuff, Michelle Chalfant, and I hope it helps others who are feeling like they live in a space of anger, those who have requested more conversation about this. Let us know your thoughts over in the private group. We would love to hear more about how anger is impacting you, how you are impacting your anger and taking control of it. Share with us in the private group over on Facebook, The Adult Chair, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you, everybody. On behalf of Michelle Chalfant, yes, I'm Pete Wright, and we will catch you next week, seated firmly right here, hopefully not that angry, in The Adult Chair.